So to demonstrate how to make a no-code app, which might be either an actual deliverable for a client or just a preview of what could be built, like if you want to show a client what could be built, um, then you'll probably want to make a Zapier account. It's a good place to start. So right before this call, I just made a brand new Zapier account. So this is what it looks like when you make a brand new account. And I did a couple things. As I go through this, I'll show you what I did. But basically, we're working on a new app for Deal.ai related to Twitter, which is now called X. So I thought I would make a no-code app related to that because it's already on my mind. And I thought it would be a good idea to make a Zapier no-code app to post on Twitter for you. But I just found out like 5 minutes before this call that Zapier, as of last year, no longer can post on Twitter for you because of recent changes made to their system. Most notably, you now have to pay basically to use their API. So that kind of got messed up, but I'll make the second best thing. So what I'm going to build is a no-code app that I was going to have it schedule and post the actual tweets for you, but second best thing, I'll just have it write down the tweets for you. So all you have to do is copy and paste them into Twitter, and then that'll be the app. So the no-code app will be 3 steps. The first step is a timer. So in Zapier, you can make a timer that says something like post every day, post every hour, whatever. And then the second step will be ChatGPT. So that'll create the tweet. And then the third step will be, it was going to be post to Twitter, but instead for now, I'll just have it save it to a Google spreadsheet so that you can go back in later and copy and paste them. So that's the plan, and let's see how it goes. So again, this is a brand new Zapier account. I click on Create Zaps, and it brings me to this page. Let's see if anyone's lost so far here. Can I post to IG or Facebook? I'd have to check on that. You'd have to check the Zapier. What I would Google if someone asked me that question, like a client, I would probably do a Google search for like Zapier post to Instagram. And I would try to find where it says Instagram integrations. Usually that is the one you're looking for. And down here, under actions, find recent posts, triggers. I'm not sure. I'd have to play with it. I'm not sure. But this is what I would kind of Google Zapier and then the name of the service. And that's how I would research, like, does Zapier post to XYZ service? But anyway, for today, let's start with the trigger. So like I said before, every day I want to have it post. So under trigger, right here, actually, it's already suggested, but if it wasn't showing up for you, you could just type in scheduler, I think. And there it says schedule by Zapier. And if you click on that, choose an event. So in this case, I'll just say every day. So once a day, I want to have it post. And then let me move this out of the way. And I click continue. Trigger, time of day. It doesn't matter, but let's just say noon. And weekends, sure, let's do on the weekends as well. And then under test, you generally have to test your trigger for it to publish. So if I click this, let's see what happens. Okay, so it's just like some basic data gets passed when you test the trigger. So just ignore that for now. And I'm just click continue with selected record. And then it's having me choose the action. So usually the most basic Zap has a trigger and then an action. So if something happens in one app, it'll trigger an action in another app. But in this case, we're going to have a 3-step Zap. So the next step is going to be ChatGPT. So I'm going to click on that right here. And before I set that up, I just want to set up the last step just to kind of show you the whole flow. So if I add a step and then do Google Sheets, we'll set that up last. So let's go to ChatGPT. And generally the way I would go about this is I would like very loosely just get the whole thing working end to end, just like even if it's like a not well thought out prompt for ChatGPT, I just want to get it working just to show that the whole flow will work. So let's do that first. So if I click on ChatGPT, let's choose an event and let's call it, I think it's conversation. Yeah, I think conversation is the simplest one because conversation just means you input text. It's like a text to text model. You just input text and it outputs text. So let's click continue. And I already hooked up a ChatGPT account. So basically in your openai.com account, there's an API key that you can copy and then you can paste it in here when you first hook up your account. So I already did that right before this call. So now the action. So basically they're just telling you here that any data you set up here in the action is going to be passed to OpenAI through the API. So basically in openai.com, when you make your account there, you may need to add some money to it, like $5 or something, just so it has some credit to play with. And this other thing is saying when testing the action, it'll run for 50 seconds. So for example, if it times out, like if it takes too long, because sometimes ChatGPT takes a very long time to respond, this is just letting you know that it'll fail, I guess. So user message. So this, I'm guessing, is what you input into ChatGPT. So the most recent message, the assistant. Yeah, so let's just try typing in, please write me a tweet, keep it under, I know the limit is 280 characters for Twitter, but let's just say 200 for now, because sometimes ChatGPT is not great at counting characters. So let's just try this, keep it under 200 characters. And let's hit the X here. Whenever you click on a field, it pops up the insert data pop-up, but you don't always need to use that. So that's if you want to insert data from a previous step. We'll use that later, so just ignore that for now. Model by default is 3.5 turbo. I know they're out with GPT 4.0 right now, but let's just stick with the default. Memory key, if provided this unique value will allow the system to continue. Okay, so I think this is if you want to have it continue a previous conversation. So for now, I'm going to leave it blank because we're not really having a conversation with ChatGPT. We're just saying, hey, write us a tweet, and it gives us a tweet. And it's not a conversation, really. It's just like an input-output. So I'm going to leave that blank. I'm going to leave the image blank. That's, I guess, if you're uploading an image to show it something. Username, user, I think, is the default. That's fine. Assistant is the name of the assistant. That's fine. Helpful assistant, that's fine as the default. Tokens, temperature, I think that's fine. So if I hit continue, and let's hit test step. Let's see what this does. I have not tested this yet. Okay, so it now switched to the data out tab here. And you can see here, response, reply, and then here we go. Here's the tweet that it wrote about self-care. So, all right, so let's hit continue. It looks good so far. And then the last step will be to insert that tweet into Google Sheets. Let's see if there's any questions so far in the chat. Okay, nothing so far. Or turbo, okay. I'm getting told I need to switch to the latest under action, under ChatGPT. Let's see the other models here for a second. So when I click on this drop-down menu, it's on this custom tab. So generally you'll have to switch to the first tab. I don't know why it does that. I guess it does that because you want to insert data from a previous step. But anyway, okay, let's say choose the model here. It has GPT 4.0. Okay, I think so. GPT-4 Turbo is the one I think you want to use with ChatGPT. I'm not totally sure though. Let's try that. You can play around with this and try different ones and see what it gives you. Yeah, I think this might be the most recent. So I just selected GPT-4 Turbo and then the most recent date. So if I hit continue now and hit test step again, let's see if it goes faster. It should be faster, right? Okay. All right, so it just replied asking me what topic I would like to tweet to focus on. So obviously our prompt needs some work here. So let's go back to action and please write me a tweet. Keep it under 200 characters. Don't say anything except the tweet itself. Sometimes I have to tell it like, okay, I should give it a topic. So please write me a tweet about real estate. Let's try real estate. All right. Did that work? No, I just deleted it. Please write me a tweet about real estate. Keep it under 200 characters. Don't say anything except for the tweet itself. Let's try that. Sometimes you gotta be a little more explicit. Continue, test step, data in, and then data out. Okay, so that came back with an actual tweet this time. So let's see if there's any questions so far. I'm just gonna continue. Chat. Okay, someone's just saying use 4.0. Okay, we'll try that later. We'll try that after we get this whole thing working. So under event, let's choose create a row in a spreadsheet. And I already hooked up my Google account here. So if it's a brand new account, you'll have to actually click connect account and then you'll just log in with Google. And then under action, I need to choose my drive. So let's go with that. Spreadsheet. I didn't make a spreadsheet yet, so let's actually go to Google Drive. And so I made a folder in my drive. I just called it Twitter. And I'll make a new spreadsheet here. And let's just call it tweets. Oops. Tweets. Now let's put two columns. Let's say date and then not Dave, date and then tweet. Just so we have some semblance of order here. Let's see what happens. So I have a column and so it should put the current date and then the actual tweet. So if I go back to Zapier here and go to spreadsheet, I may need to click refresh. There should be a refresh results here. And then let's type in tweets. There we go, it found it. And then worksheet is just going to be the tab. So it's just sheet 1. And then, okay, so it already detected right here, date and tweet are the two columns that I added. So under date, now what's cool about this is, as you can see here, it has my previous steps. So I can click this arrow to expand it. And we have the pretty date. It says June 4, 2024, but I don't know, it might be easier to sort the spreadsheet if you just put like this kind of, more proper date code here. So I'm gonna click on this. So as you can see, that's kind of like the more proper date spelled out. And then for the tweet, I click on that. And I'm gonna click the arrow here to expand the second step. And I just gotta find the actual tweet. So here it is, user. Okay, here it is, reply. So if I click on the reply, see it says exploring new opportunities. So that's the tweet. So I just click on reply. And as you can see, it inserted that here. So if I hit continue and then click on test step, it should now have inserted a row. So as you can see here, it inputted the date and the row in the spreadsheet. So that's pretty much it. So once that's ready, then I click on publish here, because now I'm on the last step of my Zap, 1, 2, 3. So the last step will have this publish button. So if I click that, I think that's it. So now once a day, this will fire and create a tweet. Now it would be nice if it actually posted it, but oh, I forgot to name it. Let's click on it again. Let's call it up in the upper left here. I just double click, just call it Twitter auto poster. I'm sorry, I know it's called X, but I'm just gonna forever call it Twitter just because it should be called Twitter. All right, so let's go back. Oh, it disappeared. Let's refresh it here. There it is, Twitter auto poster. So I have my first app all set up. It's running, it's on. We'll go back and edit the prompt in a second. Let's just see if there's any questions. Chat to create 100 posts. Yeah, you could just make 100 posts in a row. this is just an example of how to make a no-code app. What ideally what you would want to do is have another spreadsheet. And I know there's these APIs out there that give you the latest news. So if you had another sheet in your spreadsheet, I probably shouldn't do it now because I'm not prepared to like look these up, but I know there's like news APIs. So you could have like a news article like headline in a spreadsheet, and then you could have one Zap that once a day takes the latest news headline and automatically adds it to this spreadsheet. And then in your Zap, so let's go back and edit the Zap. So let's just make up a headline. Let's say I had a Zap that found the latest headline. So let's think of a good headline here. The latest unemployment numbers are in. It's currently at, let's just say 5%. I have no idea. Let's just say that's a news headline. Now in my Zap, this is a really good question because this is a good challenge. So I would probably put a step before the ChatGPT to get that row. So if I click on edit Zap here, there's a plus sign here, add a step. So if I click on that, let's try Google Sheets. Can I read a row is the question. Let's just try get many spreadsheet rows for now. I'm not sure what this is going to give me. Continue action. Let's try connecting. Share drive. Spreadsheet. Oh, whoops, I selected the wrong share drive. My Google Drive, spreadsheet, tweets, worksheet, sheet 2. Okay, just for simplicity, I'm just going to have it grab the latest rows and hit continue. And let's test that. All right, so it came back with a row. That's good. Continue. All right, so now as you can see, I added that step right here in the middle. Now, if I go to the ChatGPT step and I just go right to the action tab where it says, please write me a tweet about real estate, keep it under 200 characters. Don't say anything for the tweet itself. I'll now add some extra messaging here. So I'll say something like, try to relate to the latest news headlines. Try to relate the tweet to the latest news headline here. And then in quotes, so I just put 2 quotes here, and then I'm going to move the cursor in between the quotes. And then under insert data on the second step where it says get many spreadsheet rows, I'm going to click on that. Let's try clicking on this first row right here. Again, this is a very simplified example, but if I click on this now and I click continue under test, I'm going to click on retest step. Let's see what it gives me now under data out. Yeah, there we go. So now, as you can see, it's writing a tweet that's related to a headline that just came out. So that's a good example of if you have a customer that, their business is a certain niche, you might want to look into ways to get headlines of a certain niche into that spreadsheet. And then you could use this template here to then create their tweets and their other posts. So if I click publish now, usually I just type V2, V3, etc., and click publish. Now that is live. So let's see if there's any questions on that. What would be the point of doing this? Would tweet link back to site or funnel? Well, the point of this presentation is just to show you how to make a no-code app. This is basically a no-code app. So if you either want to deliver a fully functional app to a client, or if you just want to show them a proof of concept, like, hey, I can build this for you, this is how you would do it. So if a client came to me, they work in real estate, they want to have their tweets automated, this is what I would kind of show them. Now, when you actually post the tweet, so let's just say, for example, this row in the spreadsheet, if I click on edit Zap, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or whatever, so the actual content that you're posting, it doesn't have to be just the output of OpenAI. So you could put more than this this actual tweet content here, you could also say something like, check us out at, example.com. So the website of the client. See, this is just a variable. You can add other text here to the tweet. So now if I click continue and then publish, actually before I publish it, let's just retest it. So now it should have inserted a row here into the sheet. So now as you can see here, it has the tweet, but at the end of the tweet, it has a call to action. So that's just another cool idea. You can have a little call to action there for the client. So I'll just save that as V3. Let's see if there's any questions so far. How would you deliver this publish tool to the client for them to use? So how would the client use this tool? Now that's another thing. There's a bunch of ways you could do this. You can have a managed solution where, let's say the client asks you to build this and you build it, and it's just running in your Twitter, in your Zapier account. And you're the one kind of managing the infrastructure basically. So I guess the client could pay you a monthly fee of like, I don't even know how much to charge for that, but they'd pay you a monthly subscription fee basically to manage their stuff. Or maybe like once a year, they'd pay you for the whole year because you're basically managing their infrastructure for them. Or you could have them manage their own infrastructure. So you could advise the client to make their own Zapier account, and then they'll give you access, and then you set this up for them. I guess you would either advise them to connect their Twitter or connect their Instagram to their Zapier account, and you can walk them through that. Or I guess they can give you their login, to their Instagram account, and you would connect it to Zapier for them. So those are different ways you can go about it depending on the kind of relationship you have with the client.
Yeah, and have in mind, guys, the point of this exercise was not to think through the actual business model. It was just to show you guys how you can build no-code zaps. Obviously, you can do very simple stuff this way. If it gets complicated, it needs to be coded. So, but a lot of times you can deliver a simple, if the client has a simple request, you can deliver it using no code. And I think managed service, meaning you guys host the solutions, manage the service for the client for a small monthly fee probably makes the most sense, is my guess.
I think that concludes the presentation. Is there anything else you want me to cover?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Dave. Just to wrap up, the point here was to demonstrate how to build no-code apps. It was not like to tell you guys this is a good app idea. So let's be clear on that. Dave did a great job. 15-minute heads up, literally 15 minutes before the call. I pushed him to see if he can do it. And Matt is gonna cover this as well. I don't know what he has in mind, but he's gonna cover the same two topics. We have two more technical trainings, and then we have other things after that.